Another 4 years in the White House. In his victory speech, he called for the unity of the American people, and he warned that Washington gridlock might not be likely to end anytime soon, but they had to figure out a way around that. Take a look at the electoral map and see some of the numbers. 303 for President Obama, Mitt Romney 206. The yellow state is the state of Florida. We're actually waiting for the numbers to come out of Florida. Here's a little bit of what the president said in his victory speech. Listen.
Despite all the hardship we've been through, despite all the frustrations of Washington, I've never been more hopeful about our future. I have never been more hopeful about America. And I ask you to sustain that hope. I'm not talking about blind optimism, the kind of hope that just ignores the enormity of the tasks ahead or the roadblocks that stand in our path. I'm not talking about the wishful idealism that allows us to just sit on the sidelines or shirk from a fight. I have always believed that hope is that stubborn thing inside us that insists, despite all the evidence to the contrary, that something better awaits us, so long as we have the courage to keep reaching, to keep working, to keep fighting. America, I believe we can build on the progress we've made and continue to fight for new jobs and new opportunity and new security for the middle class. I believe we can keep the promise of our founding. The idea that if you're willing to work hard, it doesn't matter who you are or where you come from or what you look like or where you love. It doesn't matter whether you're black or white or Hispanic or Asian or Native American or young or old or rich or poor, able, disabled, gay or straight. You can make it here in America if you're willing to try.
That was a bit of the victory speech, but what was the road to get to that victory? Did all roads, in fact, go through the state of Ohio, John Berman?
Hey, Solana, for days and days and days we've been talking about Ohio. We said the whole election could hinge in Ohio. And to a certain extent it did. It was only after we called the state of Ohio for President Obama that at 11:18 last night, CNN was able to call the entire election for President Obama. I'm joined now by Carol Costello, who is live this morning in Columbus, Ohio. Carol, must be a little bit of a different feeling there this morning.
Things are so much calmer now. But as you said, John, it was Ohio yesterday. Voters were excited to get to the polls. I spent most of my day yesterday at Hamilton County in the southwestern portion of the state near Cincinnati, and voter turnout was extraordinarily high. I'm now in Columbus, which is the center of the state, and I decided to get the newspapers for you because I'm an old-fashioned kind of gal, and I thought you want to see the headlines this morning. The first one in the Dispatch says Obama wins Ohio. Can you see that? And then a second edition will come out later today. The best is yet to come. And this headline is really telling because Ohioans are really hoping the best is yet to come. Mostly voters voted for Obama because he supported the auto bailout. A lot of them kept their jobs because of that bailout. There was that really negative ad released by the Romney campaign that sort of turned voters off here because that campaign ad said that the car companies were going to move their jobs to China, which wasn't exactly true. That just scared voters, and that made them more enthusiastic to vote Obama. That said, now that Obama's in office, they know there are still so many problems the country is facing. A huge federal deficit. People in southwestern Ohio talked about that a lot. They said they want the debt gone. Somebody has to handle that debt. Of course, that fiscal cliff thing is coming. People know what that is. They want that crisis solved. Bipartisanship, they want that back. Is it possible? I mean, we saw during the hurricane with Chris Christie and Barack Obama that it was possible. So maybe it's possible if Obama gets a second term. As they say, John Berman, time will tell.
Carol, it's so interesting. You brought up that now famous or infamous Jeep ad from the Romney campaign, and we talk about what possible mistakes campaigns make. What could they have done differently? You really sense there was a palpable sense that that ad backfired?
Oh, absolutely. I've always wondered, can a campaign get too negative? Because we always hear that negative ads work. That's why campaigns put out negative ads. But there must be some line that you cannot cross. And certainly in parts of Ohio, that Jeep ad crossed that line, especially, for example, in Lucas County, where Toledo is, where, you know, they make Jeep products. People there were angry because they felt they were lied to, and they didn't want to be scared anymore. They're scared enough they're going to lose their jobs. They don't want some campaign ad coming out saying that the car companies are moving jobs to China when it just isn't true. They want to be told the truth when it comes to their bread and butter. So yeah, I think that ad made a big difference in certain parts of Ohio, in the northeastern section where the auto manufacturing jobs are plentiful.
All right, Carol Costello live this morning in Columbus with maybe a warning for campaigns about the future of negative advertising. Soledad?
Yeah, I think it's not only the negativity, it is also, as Carol pointed out, the dishonesty in that ad, and also the highlighting of something that was a flaw already that was problematic for their campaign.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I saw the same thing Carol's discussing when Allie and I brought the Battleground bus tour to Toledo and throughout the region. But you know, what really is stunning about Ohio, here's a state that Mitt Romney could have won. This is a Main Street Republican state, but what the Obama campaign did in Ohio is